everybody, I'm Debbie Bellis with Feel Good Qigong, and I'll be teaching a yoga class, half hour or so. And it was a very hot day today in the Northeast, and it's 5 o'clock and the sun's, it's starting to cool up, but it was a really hot day. So I wanted to do something a little bit more relaxing. And, if you this summer are feeling overheated but you still want to move, do it more. It's always better to do it early in the morning or in the evening, and with not too much air conditioning, if you can avoid that, because it's the nice thing about exercising in the warmer weather is that our muscles warm up a lot quicker, and we can go a little bit deeper into some of those stretches. And also maybe not work as quickly, not move as quickly, but maybe stay in the postures a little bit longer to really get that deep stretch with that warm heat. Also, it's nice to lower the lights so it's nothing too bright if it is, in the evening. Like I said, if you can avoid putting the air conditioner on, that's even better. But of course, if it's scorching hot, you put it on, just don't put it on so it's too cold. Also, a couple of things that you can do if you are overheated is to do, it's called the sipping breath. It's reverse breathing. You're inhaling, like you're sipping a straw, and it'll cool you right down. So it's instead of the other way that we normally breathe. You'll feel the coolness touching your lips, and that will immediately cool down your body. The other good thing that you can do is just take your hand and just slide it down your chest. This will also cool the heart off. So by just doing this breath and just bringing that heat, getting that heat out of your upper body into the lower extremities is also very healthy. We don't want too much heat in the upper body because it's too inflammatory for the heart, for the brain, hypertension. A lot of heart attacks happen in the summer. So again, you're just kind of getting that heat out of the upper body and bringing it into the lower extremities where it's a lot safer to have it. Okay, so we'll get started. You want to have a couple things that are really good to have. Is a blanket, maybe a pillow of some sort. And also another great thing that you can use is a rolled up mat. And I'm going to show you how to use this. It's a really nice thing to have on hand for some of these postures that I'm going to do lying down. So we're going to go right into using a rolled up mat. If you don't have a rolled up mat, you can also use a blanket and roll that up and try to make it as tight as you can. You can also use, like I have this, it's a really nice mat, and I can also just, fold it like that. So that's another, or a bolster. If you have a bolster, even better. But I'm going to show you what to do with the rolled up mat. So we're going to come onto our backs, and we're going to have the mat right here. And then have something for your head. And I'll show you how this is going to look as we start to get into it. So you're going to want your head a little bit higher, elevated from the mat that the rolled up mat that you're using. And you'll bring that mat, you'll come to your tailbone, kind of the edge of the bolster, or the mat, just touching your back a little bit. And then you just simply come onto the mat. And you can maybe bend your knees a little bit so there's not so much of a pull on your low back. And then you can just go from side to side a little bit. If you want to elevate your head somewhat, then you can take a blanket or pillow and noticing how that feels. Maybe that feels a little bit more comfortable. Now your arms in externally rotation. Your palms are faced up. You can also have your knees touch each other for some support. And this is a really relaxing way to lie down. Also rolling from side to side a little bit. Now you're massaging your spinal cord, which really feels good. So you're bringing your spine into a little bit of a back bend here, supported back bend. And take a couple of deep breaths as you start to settle in to this practice, this yoga practice. Especially when it's a hot day, you're just going to do some of these postures holding them a little bit longer, because the heat actually helps the muscles to release a little bit deeper. So we'll stay in some of these postures a little bit longer than usual. And of course, if any time something doesn't feel right, just adjust it for your comfortability. So I'm going to see what this feels like by lengthening my legs out, and it feels pretty good for me. So again, try it with the legs straight, or just try it with your knees bent, knees touching for a little bit of support. And again, you'll feel this external rotation happening in the chest, opening up the chest very comfortably. And take some nice deep breaths here. You know, breathe. If you want to bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest. And then as you inhale, inhale and feel the rise of your belly all the way up into the chest. And as you exhale, you'll release the belly to the back of the spine. And you can just take some really deep, slow breaths here. This will also calm down your nervous system all at the same time. So either holding, bringing one hand to the belly and one hand to the upper chest. It'll also help guide the breath to go into these areas. Or you can simply keep your hands at your side and stay with this deep breath as you inhale. And exhale when you're ready. Inhaling from your diaphragm, letting the belly rise, and the air is going to come all the way up into the chest. And then as you exhale, we're releasing the belly as you expel the air out through the lungs. So the deep, slow breath helps to massage your organs. We have this muscle at the very end of the rib cage called the diaphragm. It's a muscle, it's a large muscle. It sits, if you can feel your ribs also, you can feel where the diaphragm sits right underneath the ribs. You can feel your rib cage. Maybe bring your hands to the side of the rib cage. And again, as you're inhaling deep breaths, feeling the rib cage also expanding. So you're massaging not only the diaphragm muscle that moves up and down, massaging the organs, but you're also massaging the intercostal muscles in between the muscles that are in between the ribs. They get tight too, those muscles in between the ribs, and it impedes our breathing. So as you start to expand this breath deeper maybe than you normally breathe, also think of it as a deep massage for the breathing mechanics, the diaphragm and the muscles that support the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. So take some comfortable breaths here, slow and full. Allow your shoulders to relax, your facial muscles relax, maybe move the face around if you feel some nodding or tension in the face. Let your day go. Let the floor support your body. It's almost like somebody's holding you. Well, Mother Earth is holding you. She's holding you, and she can hold your body so you can relax and let go. No gripping. Systematically begin to let go of any grip or muscular tension. Letting go of any thoughts that seem to get in your way of relaxing. You're giving yourself this little bit of time to relax from your day as you move into your evening. Maybe feeling the shift from your busy day into more of a quietude as the sun begins to start its descent. Carving this time for yourself. And if this is all you do, this is fine. This in itself is very healing because you're relaxing the body, which helps to expand your body, helps to clear it from stagnation, inflammation. Deep breaths in and out. we'll begin to come out of this. Bend your knees if they're not bent. And you're just going to come over to one side in the fetal position and then remove that, whatever you had under your spine, the mat, the rolled up mat, or the pillow, or a blanket. And then we'll come back onto our backs. And we'll bring our knees into our chest. As you inhale, bring the knees in towards the chest. So you're compressing here. Again, massaging the digestive system. As you inhale, move the knees away from your torso, allowing some space. And then inhale, compress. Sorry, exhale, compress. Inhale, move the knees away, allowing some space. And then as you exhale, compress. I think I said that backwards. So you're exhaling and compressing. So you inhale, move the knees away from your body, allowing the breath to move into the belly. And then as you exhale, bring the knees into the chest as you compress all the air out. So again, a deep, full breath again. As you inhale, move the knees away from your body. And as you exhale, press the knees into your chest as you exhale. Inhale, move the knees away from your body. And as you exhale, bringing the knees into the body, compressing all the oxygen out. Now you're going to cross your ankles, grab a hold of your feet, and then press the knees again into the body. You can also do a little rocking motion, and this just feels nice on the low back especially. And then bringing your left sole of the foot on the floor, interlace your fingers in front of your right knee. And again, you're going to press that knee in towards the chest again. And then move the knee away as you inhale. And then exhale again, compress. Now I'm going to have you just hold on to your right knee with your right hand and just guide your knee over towards the right. And then again, press that knee in towards your shoulder as you just move that knee forward and back a little bit. Start to warm up that hip joint a little bit. And then lengthen your left leg so it's completely flat and charged. Charge means the toes are facing your body, your head, and also charge the right foot as well. And then do a circle with this knee. Again, this is going to warm up that hip joint. So you're going nice and slow. And then take it to the other direction. Nice and slow, warming up that hip joint. And then we're going to bring the interlaced fingers behind our knee, bend the leg up, and then bend the knee. So we're just going to do this a couple of times as you warm up the leg, warm up the knee. A couple of times. And then lengthen it up towards the ceiling. Rotations with the foot, with the ankle. Move your toes around. Move the foot around. Just feels really, we have about 26 bones in our foot. It's a lot of bones in this little foot that has to carry our whole body on it during the day. So give that foot some space, some room, separate the toes. See if you can see between your toes. Now you're going to press your interlaced fingers behind your hamstring and then press your hamstring into your hands. And this will create a little bit of compression here as you start to lengthen this leg, the hamstring especially. And then you're going to point your foot and then flex the foot. Point the foot and flex the foot. Point the foot and flex the foot. Keep the foot flexed and compress again. Hands into the hamstrings, hamstrings into the hands, a little bit of compression, lengthen this leg. And then lower the leg down, noticing how it feels. Maybe shake it out. Bending the left knee again, interlace the fingers in front of the knee. And again, you're going to compress the knee into the chest, move the knee as you inhale away from the body, and then compress as you exhale, knee to chest. Doing that several times. Again, warming up that left side of your digestive system and a little bit of the hip opener, thigh opener.
And then release just hold on to your left knee with your left hand and just guide it over towards the left a little bit, opening up that hip a little bit. You can move it around a bit, back and forth again, forward and back to warm up that hip joint. And then do circles with this knee, warming up that hip joint a little bit more. And then take it to the other direction, warming that hip up a little bit more. Then lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling, interlace your fingers behind your knee, and then we're just going to bend it a couple of times just to warm up that knee joint, begin to warm up the leg a little bit, and then you're going to lift that leg all the way up. Both legs are charged so the toes are pointing towards your body. And then we start some compression here. Press the leg into the hands into the leg, toes are pointing towards you. And we're stretching, we're doing a little bit of compression here to stretch this leg a little bit deeper. So remember, it's warm out. We can go a little bit longer with holding these stretches because the muscles are just naturally warmed up in this warm weather. It's the beauty of the warm weather. You wouldn't necessarily hold so long in cooler weather because the muscles really need time to warm. And then doing some rotations of this foot, going in one direction and then going into the other direction. Separate the toes, feeling a really nice stretch through the foot. And then you're going to point and flex the foot, point and flex the foot, point and flex the foot. And then a little bit of compression. One more time, warming up that hamstring. And then slowly release the leg back down to the floor and shake them out. Now we're going to elevate our legs. Bend the knees, lift your hips up a little bit, and if you can slide your hands right under your pubic bone, or you can put a pillow there, or some people like a block, but a block sometimes can be a little bit rough on the back, especially if you don't have it placed right, or not at all. You don't have to have anything at all. And we're just going to raise our legs up for an inversion. So the inversion is nice at the end of the day for a couple of reasons. It helps to quiet down the nervous system when you elevate, when you come into an inversion. Now, you would never want to do an inversion if you're menstruating very heavily, because this might irritate a little bit more, more cramping. And if you want to be careful with inversions, if you have high blood pressure that's not under control, you want to be careful with inversions. If you have any kind of glaucoma or eye stuff happening, again, you might want to back off the inversions, or maybe just place the legs on a couch or a chair so they're not quite up so high. But if everything else is good, then this inversion really is nice to get some of that, especially this time of year, some of the blood flow, some of the swelling out of your legs. So you can also shake them here if that feels good. Again, rotating the toes, rotating the ankles, rotating the foot also feels nice as you relax in this inversion. Again, it also helps to quiet down your nervous system. You're also bringing a lot of blood flow to your internal organs, which is really beneficial for the organs. So we'll take a couple of deep breaths here since we've got this blood flow coming out of the legs into the internal organs. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And remember, every time you take a nice, long, deep breath, it quiets down the nervous system instantly. It's one of the fastest ways to calm down your system, especially if you've had a hectic day. You want to calm it down before you move into your evening. You want to be able to, move into a comfortability for a good night's sleep. So that's the importance of that. And then maybe open the legs into a wide angle and bring them back in. So we're strengthening our inner thighs a bit, also opening up the hips a bit as we're still getting this inversion. So a lot of these movements have multiple benefits. That's what's so wonderful about these practices, these Eastern practices. They have so many benefits, not just one benefit. There's usually at least 3 or 4, sometimes more benefits. Now we're going to bend your knees, release your hands from underneath you, and stretch the legs again. We're going to do a good full body stretch. Bring the arms over your head Again, charge those feet and stress through your feet, stretch through your arms, and then lengthen your right arm and lengthen your right leg. So we're lengthening the right side, and then you switch, lengthen the left side, kind of like you're climbing a ladder, going back and forth on each side. This feels really nice. You're lengthening your spine doing this. You're lengthening your shoulders doing this. And then release. Bring your arms out now to the side in a T. We're going to do a little twist here. You're going to bend your knees again. Lift your feet off the floor. Align your knees with your hips. And then we're going to bring both knees over to our right. Now, this is a little bit too, and keep your head centered. This is too much on your shoulders or too much on your spine. You can bring some support under your knees, a pillow. You can also make a little fist with your hands and use that to stack under your knees. So whatever feels the best for you. Twists are so great for your spine. Now, if you want to take this twist a little further, twist your head over to the left. So the head's to the left, your knees are to the right. So now you've got a full spinal cord twist. So what do twists do for us? They're good for your digestive system. They keep the health of your spinal cord. Again, a very relaxing posture to do on a daily basis. Twists are beneficial. So many ways you can do twists. You can do twists lying down like this. You can do a twist on your hands and knees, which I will show you. You can do a twist sitting. You can do a twist standing. So many different ways of doing twists. I'm going to show you all of them. Take again a nice deep breath here. Again, there's some compression here in this twist in the digestive system, squeezing out, wringing out your organs to get nice, good, healthy blood flow to them. Now we're going to come back to center. Still keep your knees and hips in alignment, and then drop your knees over to your left, and your head gently comes over to the right for your full spinal twist. Support the knees if you need it. Support your head if that hurts your neck, and bring the head back to center. Again, whatever feels good on your body, just adjust it. Pain is never a good indication. It's also going to make you tighter and more tense. So use the props, use something under the knees. I feel the stretch right in my outer hip joint also, so it's helping to open not only my shoulders, also feel that in my shoulder blades, but I also feel that deepen in my arms and in my outer hip joint. And then we'll come back to center, do a couple of circles again with the knees, just massaging that low back. Soles of the feet flat on the floor again. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. This is called cobbler. Now, if you want, you can bring your arms overhead and let the shoulder blades rest to the floor, or keep them out to the side in a T, or maybe out next to you. This helps to open up your inner thighs with lots of support. It's externally rotating your hips, which feels really nice also. Your inner groin. It's a nice front body opener. So again, check in with those deep, slow, full breaths. Get the full benefit of this wonderful posture of cobbler. It's very relaxing. Just a nice, easy way to let go of some grip in the hips, especially in the inner thighs, even in the low back and in the shoulders. Maybe bring the head from side to side several times. Maybe hold it there if there's feeling any pinching in the neck. And again, we're lying on the floor, so your body's very supported here. So this is where you can really, between the warmer weather and the heat and the floor supporting, you can really let your muscles just melt and allow your body to soften up, relaxing, creating some space in your body. The compression from the day can really start to ache. So we're releasing that compression, the tension. Maybe it was a stressful day as well. And now we'll bring the knees back together, and we're going to do reverse, since we externally rotated hips. Now we're going to bring our feet internally rotating in towards each other. The knees are coming in. Now you're in internal rotation of your inner thighs. You're in inner rotation of your hips, which helps to broaden your low back. So this feels really nice, especially if you have any kind of low back pain. Now to add to this, we're going to tip our pelvis forward and back. So when you tip your pelvis forward, you're going to feel the back, low back flatten on the floor. And then you tip it the other direction and you'll feel a arching of the low pelvic region. And we go back and forth in these two movements. It's a wonderful way to massage your low back. If you have low back pain, do this. Internally rotate the feet and the knees, and then move your pelvis, tip the pelvis forward and back. And you'll actually feel this movement, this massage, all the way up to your shoulders. It's a very good massage for the entire spinal cord. So you can feel, so when I'm arching my pelvic floor, I can feel my chin coming into my chest. And then as I flatten it, the chin is going in the opposite direction. So I'm not just moving my pelvis forward and back, I'm also moving my chin forward and back. So the neck is also getting a wonderful massage here. So these are very easy, simple movements that add a lot of benefit for you, with a lot of support, using the floor for support, using those deep breaths to support the movements, kind of going with the flow, connecting the breath with the movement as you go back and forth. And then we'll release. Knees to chest one more time. A couple ways you can come out of this. You can come over to one side and then work your way back up to sitting. There's other ways of coming up, but I find that the simplest. Now, I always recommend giving your pelvis a little, your tailbone a little support. So I have this blanket here and I'm just sitting at the edge of it. Now, if your knees, when you cross your legs and your knees are way up like that, that is indication that the hips are tight. And we don't want the knees up here while we're doing some movement because it's just going to jam those hips up a little bit too much. So by just bringing a little bit of elevation under the tailbone, you get the knees come down. And that's just a better position for your knees, for your hips, and for the legs. Find those sit bones. You want to be sitting. Good way to find them is if you take your hands underneath your glutes and lift the glutes off of those tailbones. So there's a lot of meat in those glutes. Just kind of move that back and you'll find those sit bones. Those are the two bones at the very end of your spine. That's what you want to be sitting on. And as you root down through the sit bones, you're lengthening up through the crown of the head. And this gives you a nice elongated spine. You let those shoulders rest towards the back of your body. And we're going to do rotation here. We're going to go in one direction with the rotation. And then I'm coming over to my left side and I'm going to take my right hand and press very gently on the inner edge of my thigh. And this helps to open up my hip a little bit. It feels really nice to do that. And then I'm going to come over to the other side, rotate to the other side and do the same thing. Again, giving a little bit of opening here, pliability to the hip. And then we'll come into a forward fold. So again, a couple of ways you can do this. You can start moving your hands forward. Remember, you're rolling forward on those sit bones. You're rolling forward on the sit bones as the pubic bone moves back. Now, this might be it for you tonight, and that's fine. You know, drop your head, shake it out a little bit. If you want to come further down, then start moving the hands a little bit further forward. And again, come into your forward fold to your comfortability. Feeling the breath now into the back of your spine. We're in this forward fold, so the back of the spine is nice and open here. So breathe fully and deeply into the back of the spine, into the back of the neck. You're rolling forward on the sit bones. So you get a nice stretch here. And then we'll walk our way back to sitting. Bring your hands right to the back of your body. And then we're going to start to squeeze the shoulder blades together, and we're arching the back into this back flexion. Take a couple of deep breaths here, opening up the front of the body once again. And then return back to neutral spine. Left hand is on right by my left knee. I'm going to lift my right arm up and start to lean over to the left, getting a nice stretch between your waist and your hip, between the shoulder joint and the side ribs, creating that space. And then we'll come back to center. Now that that right hand that I have in my right knee, I'm going to hold my right hand to my right knee. I'm going to take my left arm and reach it up and bring it behind me. I'm going to come into another twist. So here's our sitting twist. Now we keep the spine straight. We keep the hips forward, facing forward for the twist. We're going to start twisting our belly. First, our belly to the left, and then your solar plexus to the left, and then the heart to the left, the shoulders to the left, the neck and the head. And once you're pretty far twisted around to the left, taking that right hand and placing it on, cross it over to the left knee, and then twist a little bit further. Spinal twist. Deep breaths again into the belly, especially as you massage those organs once again into our spinal twist. And then just take your head and turn it now forward and see if you can turn it to the opposite side towards your right shoulder. And then bring that around, back into your full twist. And then we'll release. We're going to do this on the other side. First, we'll start with the side stretch. Right hand sort of close to my right knee. The left arm comes up, and then we lean over to the right for a side stretch, creating some space between the ribs and the hip, between the shoulder and the ribs, opening up this entire side of the body. Full deep breaths into that space that you're trying to elongate a little bit more. Full deep breaths, full deep breaths. And then we're going to come back up to sitting, taking the left hand on the left knee. Right arm comes up and bring it behind you. Push down through the sit bones, left and up through the crown of the head. I'm going to keep my hips centered. I start to turn my belly to the right, my solar plexus to the right, my chest to the right, my shoulders and the neck, and then your head. Then once you're there, taking your left hand and placing it, your left hand and placing it on the right knee and twist just a little bit more. I feel this stretch in my left shoulder especially, and in my neck. Now I'm just going to take my neck and rotate your neck over to your left, just the neck, keep the spine twisted, and then rotate it back towards the right into the full twist. Deep breaths into the belly, massaging your organs in this twist. And then we'll unwind and come back to center. Let's bring our soles of the feet on the floor. You're going to take your knees into your elbows and press your elbows into the knees into the elbows. This will broaden the backs of your shoulders. Keep that compression. And then drop your chin to your chest and do a circle all the way around. By doing this, you're really broadening the backs of the shoulders. It's a great way to stretch the backs of the shoulders and the neck. If you find an area that's really tight, you just hold it there. You breathe through it. The breath will always allow some more space in tight areas. It opens it up and it releases the tension and the gripping. So it's always a great go-to when you're feeling some tightness and gripping in your body. You just gently coax it to open. You never want to do too fast because you might inflame it more. So we're just allowing some space in our body. And then release. We're going to release. We're going to come to our hands and knees. If you want, if this hurts your knees, you can bring a blanket under your knees. Also, if you have knee pads, those are really nice to use also. You know, maybe somebody you know plays sports and they have knee pads, get a pair of them. They're really helpful. I'd also like to have a little something to elevate my feet when I come into some of my forward folds or squats. So you might want to do that also. But we're going to come into our hands and knees. You want your shoulders, your wrists right under the shoulders. You want your knees right under the hips. Separate your fingers nice and wide. You're also going to separate, you're going to press the knees away from each other like you're spreading the mat between your knees. This is going to broaden your low back. Again, a nice position for any low back pain. Now from here, we're going to come into dog tails. This is where we arch the spine. And then you round the spine into the cat tilt as we go back and forth in these two movements. Wonderful movement for the spine. Try to do these every day if you can. They're just a wonderful way of support because you're supporting the spine. It's kind of like a bridge. You're supporting the spine with your arms. You're supporting your spine with your legs. So the spine can just float back and forth, getting these two movements. Very healthy for the spinal cord. You got to get that spinal cord moving in many flexions so you get the fluid moving. We have spinal cord fluid. We need it to move. We need it to circulate. One way of doing it is doing cat dog. Now we're going to do a rotation again with our body. You can go make a small rotation or big rotation. Go in the other direction, and you're rotating also your wrist, you're rotating your hips and the knees and the shoulders and the neck. We're going to take our hands, and this is really good if you're on a computer a lot. Just turn your hands so your fingers, as much as you can do this, facing you. And then when you do that, you're going to move back a little bit with your hips, and this is going to really open up that forearm and the wrists. Really good if you are on a computer quite a bit or if your hands hurt. This just feels really nice for that area of the hands and the arm. And then we'll release and we'll come back to center. We're going to do another twist. I had said we can do this on our hands and knees. You're going to take one hand in the center. So I'm going to take my left hand into the center of my body. As I inhale, I'm reaching my right arm up and I'm twisting the spine. And then release that right hand and then inhale, the left arm comes up as I twist the spine. Let's do that one more time. This feels really nice. Inhale and open, twisting the spine, especially the upper thoracic spine, and other way. And then we'll release. We're going to take our hips back into child. You can either have your arms straight out in front of you, rest your forehead on the floor, or you could bend your elbows, make a little pillow with your hands, and rest your forehead on the floor. Whatever, again, feels good for you. So child is very quieting to the nervous system. Breathe deep into the back of the body, and that's really going to quiet down your nervous system. This is why they call it child. You can also rock from side to side a little bit. That rocking motion is quiets you down. It's a nice thing to do at the end of the day, just to quiet that whole entire system down. It was really nice and comforting. And then from here, bring the hands straight out in front of you. You can look at the hands. And then we're going to start to come up into downward facing dog. So you're going to curl your toes under. And this is where I use the little elevation, the pillow for. I bring my heels towards the pillow or on the pillow to elevate. You might be really stretched out in the legs and don't need it. But I just like that little bit of a lift in my heels for my downward facing dog. So we're lifting the sit bones up. You're engaging your abdominals. You can keep your knees soft if you like. You can pedal here too. And this helps to open up your legs a little bit more, just going back and forth. And then from here, we're going to walk our hands to our feet and just hang here like a rag doll. So I'm again having my heels on this little pillow for a little bit of support. And I'm just hanging here like a rag doll. So you could shake out here. And then we're going to come into a squat. And I need this extra cushioning for my heels to come into squat. My elbows are in, I'm pressing my elbows into my inner knees and my knees into my elbows. I bring my hands to get palms together. And squatting is just a very healthy way to position to be in. It helps with your internal organs. It helps with your bowel movements. It helps with strengthening the knees and the thighs. You know, we don't sit this way. We sit in chairs a lot, and that can make us very weak, actually, using chairs all the time. So this is a night, and it's really good for your hips. It's good to do comfortably, and that's why I use this little pillow, because this helps me be more comfortable in my squat. And then from here, we're going to come right into a full forward fold. So now feet are flat on the floor. We're in our forward fold. Soften the knees, and then we slowly come up one vertebrae at a time as we come back up to standing. And then let's reach up as we inhale onto the toes, stretch through your hands and your feet. Bring the palms of the hands together, right to the heart. And we're going to do one more twisting flexion standing. And this is how easy it is. Our arms are like heavy coat sleeves, and we just move them from side to side, twisting the spine one last time, wringing it out, bringing lots of nutrients to the spinal cord, massaging our digestive system, our internal organs. Such a wonderful thing to do. And we'll slowly come to a stillness. And again, we're going to inhale, nice deep breath in, and exhale, H-A-A-A, ah, decompress for the day. Inhale again, ah, decompress. And then one more, inhale, exhale, palms of the hands come together as you come into your mountain posture. Nice deep breaths again. Hopefully your body feels a little bit more relaxed from your day. Now you can move into the next part of your day, the evening, with a little bit more energy, a little bit more relaxation, a little bit more clarity, so you can have a nice restful sleep. Thank you for joining me, and namaste to all of you. Thank you for joining me. And if you like this video, click like, and if you want to subscribe to my station, I try to get stuff out at least twice a week. Thanks a lot again. I appreciate it.